So a few days ago, the was kept secret in Australia, New Zealand football circles came out, and that is that there will be a new A-League team based in New Zealand, and it will be based in New Zealand's largest city, Auckland. Of course, the A-League already has the Wellington Phoenix now for about, what is it, 17 years, and it's while the Phoenix have made the playoffs, they haven't won the title, of course, but they have become a staple of the A League. And look, I mean, while results might not be quite what we dream, but you have to say that the Wellington Phoenix organization is certainly the most stable professional football team that New Zealand's ever had to date. Look, the reason I mentioned that because I guess Auckland's attempts, past efforts for Auckland to have a professional football club have ended up rather disastrous, and I guess many skeptics will be wondering what's different about this entry this time. So so I thought I'd talk a little bit about this Auckland A-League's entry, which is set to start in the 2024-25 A-League season. Yeah, so obviously, as I mentioned, this is not the first time that Auckland has been home to a professional football team. Look, we're not counting like Auckland City FC. While they are semi-professional. It's they compete in the New Zealand Football Conference, and so we're not really counting. I'm talking, we're obviously talking about, for example, the Football Kings, who first started out in 1999. They were actually New Zealand's first professional football club, playing in the Australian National Soccer League, which is the predecessor to the A-League from 1999 until 2004. Of course, 2004 was the year that the NSL, the old NSL, was disestablished, and the A-League was started in I think 2005. Of course, the Football Kings they played out at Mount Smart Stadium and North Harbour Stadium, and look, if you don't remember them, that's really reasonable because, let's be honest, they didn't really achieve much. They had they were, of course, they had Winton Rufer as coach at one stage, but and they, of course, they had Harry Nata, who is one of the Sky Sports football commentators. Actually, he's one of the former playing experts. Yeah, but look, their record was, they let's just say they lost a lot more games than they won, and they were pretty irrelevant. Their best finishing position was 8th, which was well out of the playoff positions for that NSL, and they got really poor crowds. So so pretty much a kind of forgotten part of New Zealand football. I know, look, if anyone has a Football Kings jersey, do let me know in the comments. I think those would probably be worth something now. So that's the Football Kings. And then, of course, we have the New Zealand Knights, who, again, are sort of a bit forgotten, or New Zealand football fans try to forget them. So the New Zealand Knights, it was actually the renamed Football Kings outfit. They were based out of North Harbour Stadium, as I said. And now, interesting fact, they weren't allowed to. The renaming came because there was a potential legal threat from the Sydney Kings NBL franchise. Look, the New Zealand Knights were. I remember them pretty well, and they were absolutely disastrous. They had John Adshead, who was actually the man who famous for guiding the All Whites to the 1982 World Cup. Look, it was, the crowds again were very low. Although, funny enough, when word came out that the New Zealand Knights were about to lose their franchise from the A League, the crowds actually started turning up at North Harbour Stadium. Although both seasons they finished 8th, which I think that was last, wasn't it? Back in the day, well off the pace. So so they were dissolved on the 21st of January, 2007, and they were replaced, of course, by the Wellington Phoenix. And look, the Wellington Phoenix is the rest. That's the rest of the story. I guess I should really mention, with a comparison, the Knicks were sort of a more like how the Knicks started. It was sort of like let's say, a project of love by with Tony Serapicios. Now, who's back then, now he's kind of disgraced. He's had to declare bankruptcy. The Wellington Phoenix, of course, was started as a sort of like a project of love. Nothing was really expected out of them. It was just really to just make sure that New Zealand had a presence in the Australian Professional Football League, because of course with the football nights, New Zealand had no entries into professional football. And so the Wellington Phoenix was sort of established as a project of love, and that they ultimately the Australian Football Federation of Australia said yes. Well, they gave the Wellington Phoenix sort of like a provisional franchise, and the rest is history. Yeah, look, the Knicks play in Wellington. Look, I mean, you can debate all till the cows come home about crowds and how successful it is. Personally, I think it is, from the New Zealand point of view, I think the Wellington Phoenix, without the Wellington Phoenix, New Zealand football wouldn't be where it is now, to the point that we are entertaining the thought, we are able to entertain the thoughts of the next expansion of a second New Zealand team and in Auckland. Yeah, so look, I mean, what can this new Auckland team whatever it's going to be? Look, the name hasn't been announced. It's not going to be Auckland City FC, because I think they are, the word is that they are going to try and separate themselves from the Auckland City FC club that's playing in the New Zealand Football Championship. But yeah, so it is actually a brand new thing, and I guess it is. Look, I guess this current Auckland professional football club it's really brand new, no links whatsoever to the Knights or the Kings apart from bar name. It's the sort of the idea, the driver behind this franchise is a man named Bill Foley. He's an American businessman based in from Austin, Texas. He's actually he's well known as the owner of the Vegas Golden Knights, who won the Stanley Cup last season. He's also the owner he is also the owner of AFC Bournemouth, and also owns a minority stake in FC Lorient. So it is one thing to note, at the launch he showed off his Stanley Cup ring, from which he got through the Vegas Golden Knights, and he said if this Auckland team won the A-League championship, he'd give this ring to the so there is, look, I think on that, and the other thing he mentioned was that this was going to create a pathway to the Premier League. Of course, the Knicks don't have that pathway to the Premier League. I mean, so this is quite a, this some might say potentially is maybe some skeptics might say it's a bit of like sugarcoating. That's like, yeah, right, because I mean, you look at you look at Melbourne City, how many players ended up going to Manchester City, that sort of, their sister club Manchester City. But look, I mean, it's certainly a sweetener. It's an avenue and we need more avenues. New Zealand football needs more avenues, and it's great that, sure, he's an American, but I think not many people in New Zealand have the money to be able to, to invest in New Zealand football and certainly in New Zealand. And so look, any investment is welcome, and I think it sounds like really positive there. And so, yeah, we shall have to see. The other thing with this to be named Auckland A-League team, we're mentioning it. The plan is to play at Mount Smart Stadium, which is, as you know, it's that's Go Media Stadium. If you're wondering, trying to find that's the current sponsorship name. So I think that's an ideal position, because I think Mount Smart Stadium is a much better venue than North Harbour QBE Stadium, because it is much closer to. It will certainly be close to Auckland City than Albany, and in fact, I think Penrose will be close to sort of like eastern suburbs, your Howick's, Pakuranga, because I think there's certainly the sort of like the engine of Auckland football at the moment is in the out east. And of course, you have Auckland City, which is sort of both, and Kiwitira, which is sort of central Auckland. Coaches, well, of course, it's still way too early, but it'll be one fantasy, I guess. Maybe there's a man. I wonder if they could. Ramon Trubilix, who is the former coach of Auckland City. He's currently at Budapest Honvéd as an assistant. Wonder if they might tap him up, or Bournemouth, they might, I think with Bill Foley's things, they might tap someone up in the US or even the Premier, maybe from Bournemouth or Lorient. So, but I mean, imagine Ramon Chibulex being this new Auckland A-League franchise's first coach, because he's, as you know, he achieved wonders at Auckland City. Was there for about 11 years. He got them, they got them into the FIFA World Cup where they had some really amazing results. So yeah, that would be interesting to see. I guess the final question is, look, the Knicks have established themselves pretty much almost like the way the Warriors have. Okay, they don't, the Warriors, while they play in Auckland, they are a New Zealand team, and they've been not shy to promote themselves as a New Zealand team rather than just simply a Penrose Auckland-based team. And Wellington Phoenix, while unofficially they've taken games to Auckland, Christchurch, Dunedin, they sort of unofficially, while they've remained pretty much a Wellington team, unofficially you could somewhat say they're a New Zealand team. There are lots of Wellington Phoenix fans across the country. So this will be interesting to see how many, how Aucklanders will take to this new team. Look, there will be support for this Auckland team. It's a brand new product, brand new club, a chance to see professional football, at home rather than wait every year for 1 or 2 games that the Knicks bring to Auckland. And they will certainly get behind it, but it'll be interesting to see how, over time, look, I think what I expect, the Aucklanders will support both this Auckland team and the Wellington Phoenix, and I think you only see that maybe in 1 or 2 generations time as, the two clubs become more distinct. It will be, but I think you will see quite a different dynamic. The Knicks have been around for 17 years. They've sort of really established themselves as almost like the de facto New Zealand professional, the team that New Zealanders support. But yeah, look, I think we will expect a change. And hey, I mean, that's not a bad thing, isn't it? Look, the only derby that Wellington really has is Perth, and that's not a derby at all. It's just because the derby really is about locations. I mean, Auckland, Wellington, it's okay. It is stretching the definitions there, but yeah, we'll take an Auckland, Wellington, Auckland versus Wellington A-League games. I think there's certainly going to be games to watch. So that's my thoughts on the Auckland A-League franchise. I'm tempted to keep calling it Auckland City, even though it certainly will not be. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Will this Auckland A-League franchise be successful in the city of sales? What sort of crowds are we going to expect? I think that you will see crowds of like 10,000 in the first season, but I think they will probably stabilize 5,000, 8,000, which, look, I know we talk about pro rata. Auckland is 1 million people. Wellington is about 100,000. So, 5,000 to 2,000 in the next game is probably about right. You've got to remember, of course, the A-League has struggled for crowds in the last 5 or so years. So we shall see what happens there. But yeah, will it be a third failed professional football club in Auckland? I hope not. I think this will be different. I think the A-League has the A-League would have done their due diligence, and I think they would not have given a franchise if they'd not seen a successful business model. Certainly, they know about the past of the Kings and the Knights. So, but I'd like to hear your thoughts. So yeah, look, a bit of a niche topic, but if you like this video, feel free to like and don't forget to subscribe.